War for the Planet of the Apes is directed by Matt Reeves and stars Andy Serkis as Caesar, and is the final film in the modern Planet of the Apes trilogy. And to be honest with you, going into this film, I wasn't like super excited. It wasn't in my most anticipated of the year list, and I just wasn't like dying to see it, but I was still excited to see it. And I think the reason for that is because it's been about 2 years since I've seen Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Even though I really do love these films, I love Rise, I love Dawn, and I really do think that this trilogy is an incredibly underrated and overlooked trilogy, because when you think trilogies, people tend to think Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Dark Knight, Captain America. Nobody ever really says Planet of the Apes trilogy, that's good. But I really, really like this trilogy of films. And if you've been watching my videos for a long time, if you've been a subscriber to this channel for a while, then you would know that Matt Reeves, who directed this film and is also directing the upcoming Batman film, he wasn't one of my choices for the potential Batman directors. And when it was announced that he was going to be directing, I wasn't very excited. I was just kind of like, okay, cool, Matt Reeves. But after seeing War for the Planet of the Apes, I am beyond excited to see what he does with the Batman film, because War for the Planet of the Apes is an incredible, incredible film. It's so good. Matt Reeves directs this film with so much craftsmanship and so much passion and so much attention to detail, and the film is so incredibly deep and complex, and it has well realized characters. And one of the things that I love so much about this film and the other two Planet of the Apes films is that they are kind of these films that are sort of marketed as blockbusters. They're released in the summer, and their posters and the trailers are kind of made to look like they are these big blockbusters. But in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinions, they are so much more than that. They are these powerful, intimate, thought-provoking, well-made films with well-realized characters. And that's why I love this trilogy so much, and that's why I love this film so much, because all of what I just said is in this film. And I just love the way Matt Reeves directed this film. This film feels so different to Dawn, because I think that a lot of people will be comparing War and Dawn for the simple fact that it's the same director. But I do think that there are so many differences, and I can't really compare. I can't really say which I like more, because they're so different. It's like Captain America: Winter Soldier and Captain America: Civil War. They're very different films, and they're both incredible films. And Matt Reeves, man, he's just such a great director. I need to keep saying this because he's just so good at his job. Like, he's just so good. And now I want to talk about the technical aspects of the film for a bit. First off, I want to talk about cinematography. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful. This is an incredible looking film, and I have said this time and time again, and I'm going to keep saying it until the end of the year. 2017 has been a great year for blockbuster films visually. John Wick Chapter 2, Kong Skull Island, Ghost in the Shell, Guardians 2, Alien Covenant, Wonder Woman, and now War for the Planet of the Apes. This film looks incredible, really. Like, the cinematography is just so beautiful. And I really do think that this film, I would be pretty happy if this film gets nominated for Best Cinematography. I don't think it will, though, because the Oscars don't really like nominating blockbuster films, but I do hope that this film gets a nomination. Another technical aspect of the film, which I think in this film especially is just as important as the direction and the acting, is the visual effects, the CGI, the motion capture work. And I can say without a doubt that War for the Planet of the Apes has the best motion capture work I have ever seen, and some of the best CGI I have ever seen. It's so great how far we've come in terms of visual effects. I mean, it's just brilliant. I talk about Michael Giacchino's score. Michael Giacchino is having a very good year. He did the score for Spider-Man: Homecoming, and his score for War for the Planet of the Apes, this film, is my favorite Michael Giacchino score. I actually love this score. I think it really combines with that classic Planet of the Apes sort of score from all the 1960 films, but it also feels very new at the same time. Now I want to talk about the acting, the performances. Andy Serkis, it really does amaze me how the guy doesn't have an Oscar yet. He's just so good, and he's just one of the most underrated, underappreciated actors we have. He's an amazing actor, and a lot of people do say that, it's only half him, you know, it's 50% him and 50% the visual effects guys. And you know what I say to that? They both should be nominated. I would be very pissed if they do not nominate this film for Best Visual Effect. And I would be very pissed also if they don't nominate Andy Serkis for Best Actor, because here he gives such a complex and conflicted and deep performance. Like his character Caesar, you know, you obviously get to see the art from all three films, you know, because I feel like every good third film in a trilogy has to not only stand on its own, but also be a good addition to the, you know, the other two films. And the character of Caesar is exactly that, because not only do you see him progress and have his own arc in this film, have his own emotional, personal story to tell, but you also get to see where he's come from the other two films, and I really like that. And I really like where they took the character of Caesar in this film. I'm not going to spoil the plot for you, but his mission, his journey in this film is incredibly personal. And they do such a good job of setting the stakes and setting up just how important this is, not only to him, but to the other apes. And another thing I want to talk about this film is just how unpredictable it is. It doesn't go in the way that you think it does, because when you see the film, you know, you're like, oh, this is going to happen here because of this, because of that, and like it's going to end up like this, but it doesn't. It's very unpredictable, and I love that so much. And one of the things I love so much about this film is that with the previous films, you kind of had like this human lead. You know, like with the first film we had James Franco, second film we had Jason Clarke. With this one, it's really just about Caesar. It's really just about the apes. And obviously you have Woody Harrelson, who gives a very good performance in this film. But he isn't in the film as much as I thought, because this film really is about Caesar. This is his story, and there are obviously some very good supporting characters I'm going to talk about in a bit, but this really is his story. And I personally love that. I mean, I know some people would probably prefer having a human lead as well, but in my opinion, this is basically like Transformers without Shia LaBeouf and just Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. That makes any sense. And speaking of other characters, like I said, Woody Harrelson was very good. There's this one scene in the film which is like the only exposition scene in the film, and that scene did such a great job to humanize Woody Harrelson's character, because up to that point he was a bit of a dick, and he was just kind of like evil for the sake of evil. And with that one scene, you really get to see his perspective as the villain. You really get to see why he's doing what he's doing. I also want to give a quick shout out to Steve Zahn, who plays Bad Ape in this film. Now, Steve Zahn is an actor who I think is really underrated. I saw him in Dallas Buyers Club, and also he's the dad in all the Diary of a Wimpy Kid films, and he's really funny in those films. But in this film, he gives such a great performance as this character, Bad Ape. And I think that some people would be like, oh, this is like a Jar Jar Binks character. And I think that this was a big risk. Again, this film takes a lot of risks, right? It's not just a typical play it safe movie, it takes risks, both in storytelling and in characters. And with Bad Ape, I think this was one of the bigger risks that the film took, but it paid off because Steve Zahn gave such a great performance, and through the motion capture, through the direction, through the way the character was used, it did not feel like a Jar Jar Binks character. It was a great comedic relief to a really, really sort of serious film, and I really appreciated that. In fact, every single character, all of the apes, like Maurice, the orangutan, who was in Rise and Dawn, great. And I also really enjoyed the character of Winter, which is like this white gorilla, who doesn't have like a ton to do in the film, but when you see the film, I think you'll understand exactly what I mean. It's very interesting to see how that character progressed. I just think that Matt Reeves did such a great job of giving all the characters something to do, but still making it Caesar's story and making that a very focused aspect of the movie. I also like the fact that this film was a relatively realistic depiction of what would happen if apes were to get smart and they were to fight with humans. Because this film deals with a lot of sort of grey areas. It's really not just black and white. It's not just good versus bad, apes versus humans. You know, because there are apes who don't like Caesar, and so they work for the humans. And I really like how they explored that. And of course there is conflict between apes and humans, but there's conflict between apes and apes. There's conflict between humans and humans. It's not just all black and white like I've just said, and I really like just how realistic and how brutal this film is. It's very much like Logan in the way that it treats its characters in the story, because Caesar in this film, man, he is constantly getting pummeled, like constantly getting demolished, both physically and psychologically. And I just love how he's kind of this really conflicted character, and he's dealing with his dark side, and he really just has to pull through and become that leader because his people are depending on him, and I just love that part of the story so much. I do have a slight problem with the film though. The first 2/3 of the film is filmmaking perfection. I do not have a single problem with the first 2/3 of the film. It is genuinely perfect, just perfect.
Perfect everywhere!
And after this scene that I talked about earlier with Woody Harrelson, I feel like the film kind of slows down and loses momentum for about 10 to 15 minutes. And I feel like portions of that 10 to 15 minutes could have been cut out just to make the transition from the second act to the third act a little bit quicker. And I did think the third act battle was good, but I just think it wasn't as good as the first 2/3 of the film, which, like I said, perfection. But aside from that, War for the Planet of the Apes is one of the best films this year, without a doubt. It has great directing, great performances, great visual effects, a great story with well-developed characters, and it's just such a different film to the other two, and it does such a great job of completing this trilogy in such a satisfying way. And I'm going to give this film an A. Guys, thank you as always for watching. I am seeing Dunkirk today. I will be reviewing that film very soon. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Thank you.